Oh, hello, hello. The first time in months. Let's just go with that. 'Cause I just woke up not long ago. Actually, I think last time I did a live for anything football related was at the beginning of this season. But either way, doesn't even matter. I am back from long hiatus. Um, I took a little bit of time off and it has been too much time in my book because especially from these streams on my porch back here when I'm just ranting, sounding like the fool I am about sports. But yeah, I was here for the World Series, the beginning of it, and man, I can't believe it was almost 3 months ago. Did I not say go back and watch that the Dodgers could be sneaky in that one? It's crazy. Yeah, baseball season about 3 months from now is going to be right there, right around the corner. But yeah, man, I have a bone to pick with the NFL, and I will get to some college football as well, and also it's why I was on a hiatus, which I've been trying to do different types of shows and give you try different things and give you variety on here. Of course, bring on guest interviews for anybody who watches this. Thank you. I'm not acting like I am getting these that's good sports numbers or like the amount of people that come in for a stream for somebody like Candace Owens or whoever. I'm just using that as an example because how many people go on to those shows. They're definitely not correlated, but the point is they get numbers, and I'm happy with my channel because it is somebody who has lived in many cities and watches all different kinds of sports, and I prove it by doing this for just for a good time because I love sports. But I'm here in Duval right now, where the probably the best team in the NFL right now resides. Some people in Seattle would have something to say about that, but look, that was at the beginning of the year, and the Jags were going through a slump. They got it together, man, and I think people really started to take notice of them after that win against the Broncos. I knew they had it in them when they beat Texans early in the year because I thought the Texans defense was for real back then. But then they beat the Chargers, 35-6, and ever since they've not looked back. But that one against the Broncos gave them national attention. However, um, this stream, it's more about the product the NFL used to be and what they are no longer. Because last night I was so excited to do a stream for the reaction of those two games. I had the night free to watch them. I was geared up, and it got to around halftime in the first of the two nationally televised games, the Buccaneers and the Panthers, which congrats to the Bucks on that win, but they're going to need some help today from the Saints. And I mean, who would have thought the Falcons would determine who wins that division? And I really didn't know who to pull for. I mean, I like the Bucks. A lot of respect for that team, and Todd Bowles, an old legend from the Redskins in the 1980s, and big fan of what he's done down there. And Baker's comeback really ever since he had slow start in LA with the Rams. But the Panthers, you got to respect it too. They've been just abysmal for a while now, ever since Cam left there, and it reminds me of who they were in the early 2000s. Going back here with the George Seifert teams, the people coming into the complex right now. That's the one drawback of doing these shows on the back porch, other than people being like, "Who the hell are you talking to?" But the game last night, it was 10-0 early. The Bucks had the ball moving really well. It was just a miserable night weather-wise there. I mean, it was raining pretty much the whole game. And there were no flags called, I think, in the first quarter. And then all of a sudden, I saw there was a penalty marker thrown on Carolina. And I was like, all right, there's bound to be one eventually from one of these teams. And then there was, maybe this was, I don't think it was the first flag, but there was a first down on third and I want to say 6, something like that. Uh, the so the Panthers converted on the play, but it got called back, and so I'm like, that didn't. I'm watching the replay and going, I don't think that was a penalty. And the announcers, more than one time, if you go back and watch the replay of that game, said the same thing. Not just on that play, but multiple penalties. And it's like I'm at the point now where I don't know if I can watch these games anymore. So I'm just disgusted. It's it's tragic what it is now. Used to be a lot more risky playing, but it felt like it was. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to talk to more people who watched in the 70s and 80s, but it just feels like the game. You expect there to be a controversial call every game, every week, and I mean, the Raiders in the 70s, I mean, all the players that you knew from those teams, Bill Filippiano and George Atkinson. If you don't know those names, you should go study up on them. But it, they were calling out the refs back in the day. And, this is aside from other things that happen outside of the league that just tarnish their image. And I could go all the way back to my dad and I when he was here for Christmas. He came down to Florida with my mom, and we were talking about Jim McMahon in the 1980s. It was the year after the 85 Bears, and there was a cheap shot on him well after the play. That kind of stuff on the field. And then you have this situation now with Diggs where legally he's in trouble. And it's not like it's the first time we've seen a big name player caught up in these things. The NFL has just, it's really, its image not only needs work, but I think
people are not buying into these storylines with these games anymore, because it's just like there's so many reasons not to support you, but then you're going to go and the one thing that we really care about, the game, and you're going to dismantle it with these ridiculous calls. And I'm not the only one. Go on social media today, go on whatever you use, Rumble, YouTube. So many content creators, I guarantee, are making videos about it. Last night, I always put on That's Good Sports, and I have that going simultaneously with the game. I'll turn up the announcement, the not the announcers, commentators sometimes, but mostly I do That's Good Sports now, which I love having that. I thought about doing that with all sports at one point. I was like, I'm gonna fry my brain trying to commentate all different sports, every game that's big. It wouldn't just be like, oh, I can do UNC Duke, or I can do, the Redskins and Cowboys. I'd have to do so many. So I was like, no, but they're good for the NFL to have an alternative to these guys who call games. Any game, I feel like you're watching, there's going to be something where you disagree with the announcer, but some of them, it's just like, yeah, there's, especially with a certain quarterback used to play in Texas and his colleague, but people were, the good thing about That's Good Sports is that they have a live chat going during the games, and people were flooding the comment section with comments about the game being just, it's like it was unwatchable because of those penalties. And I think the NFL really is like, I think people are going to take a long break more and more from watching it, and maybe some of them will be done forever. I mean, I kind of went back and forth after the whole anthem thing, because I think it wasn't so much the anthem situation itself. It was more like, you know, you're in this country, but you're going after it. So it, it's kind of like wanting to have, you know, I think you get what I'm saying here. It's like the selfish athletes sort of thing. I was like, I've seen this happen so many times before, all the way back to T.O. and guys before him, Dion in the 90s. But that was just like, you know, biting the hand that feeds you sort of thing. But it wasn't just like they were going after the NFL, they were going after the country that they make money in. And it's not even like it was an original thing that Kaepernick was doing. It's like Dwayne Thomas did that in the 70s with the Cowboys, man. So, yeah, I don't, I'm not going to sit there and buy into the whole NFL really cares about it. No, it sounds like they care about money like most businesses do. And hey, that's the way they want to run it. I've been critical of Roger Goodell for almost 20 years now. So if they want to stick with him, go right ahead. But I don't know. I think these games are just, people are tuning out. And by the time I got to the Seahawks and the 49ers, I was like, I just don't want to watch this. I don't like, I was so disgusted by what happened in that game with Carolina and Tampa Bay. But I'm happy at the same time for the Buccaneers. Uh, they've just had such a, I don't even know what the word is. I mean, it's a NFC South is a tenuous division, but they really, I mean, to be in the position that they were in to possibly win the division after all the injuries they dealt with and the turnovers and that's some true resiliency from that squad. But yeah, and then the Seahawks, I mean, sloppy win, but a win. And it was a winning into the number one spot. People doubting the Seahawks still, and I picked the Niners before that game. I originally went with the Seahawks, but I changed it just because I felt like, you know what, I'm going to go with the Niners because they've been just as hot, and I think people are sleeping on Brock Purdy's experience. But Seattle did what they needed to do, man, and you shouldn't doubt Darnold. However, does inexperience in the playoffs, is that going to hinder them going forward? We're going to see. That's why I love doing these back porch streams here, just sitting here getting going. I can stop sometimes and be like, what was my original point to make here? I think the point to make is enjoy these games because that's what they are, just games. Don't think too much about if you want to do something with the messages that these leagues, I think, are pretending to care about. Go ahead. I don't discourage that at all because I think, yes, it is good to go out there and, if you were born in a certain country and you come to the US, you're feeling very vulnerable. Just as I think if somebody moved from the United States and has lived there their whole life and they go to Europe or they go to Africa or something like that, you need to talk to people and get in touch with demons. All those things, yes, they're not bad messages to promote. Change the person you are, but to act like we're not going to. What was it, Jim Florentine? Yeah, I saw end racism, and that made me want to stop. It's like I don't think it's working, guys. I don't think people are buying it. But I'm very excited about the Jaguars this year, man. To have been, I was working out of my car for a living last year and just started a new job, but got to listen to a lot of Jaguars games on the radio, and I'm just so excited for this team, man. They have a huge road, the road ahead. There's something huge at the end of it if they can get a championship for this city. I mean, you could tell they're hungrier than ever, and I could tell with Liam Cohen when he went after Sean Payton for the small market comment. So we are going to see what happens. But I'm picking the Jags today, obviously, to beat Tennessee. And yeah, I think the only good game on, honestly, is the Chargers and the Broncos. So we'll see what happens with that. I watched, of course, the college college football playoffs on Thursday, and I haven't forgotten about the Steelers and the Ravens tonight, but I'm just so excited for Miami. It's been a long time coming to have sat there as a 9-year-old and watched Ohio State steal a game from us in the national championship game, which is exactly what happened. It's so cool to see us get that one back against them almost 25 years later. But Indiana, man, yeah, they're no joke, and they wanted to make a statement, and they did. And I've watched Kurt Signetti all these years with JMU. It's just so cool to see them in this spot. Who knows? Who knows what's ahead? I mean, either way, I was talking to a guy who is a friend of mine. He's a diehard Buckeyes fan, and he said he's
he's like me, he's going for Miami, but he also wouldn't mind if Indiana won, and that's the way I feel. It's like it's hard for me to not support a guy like Kurt and what he's done with that program, but the Canes, man, they haven't been here in so long. I've suffered so many years through Ja'Cory Harris and Al Golden and all that. It's it's wild to see Miami where they are now, but to know how far off they fell. And even guys who don't like Miami, they're like, it's impressive what happened because I was very worried going into that Ohio State game, like, all right, are we going to hit a wall? But they didn't. And I mean, now it's it's up to Miami to, I think, a very, I don't want to say easy game, but I think I'll be most tense if they win this game and then they have to play Indiana because that team's on fire. I didn't want to overthink playing Ohio State because Ohio State is not the squad they were last year, is what I'm saying. So, yeah, and I'm I posted on Instagram and I'm about to put it on YouTube doing some streams this month. I had an interview planned with a guy I know, MMA fighter in North Carolina, climbing the ranks. Look him up. His Instagram. I'm gonna drop on here. D Reddick. I think it's at the D Revenant MMA, if I'm remembering correctly. But I'm gonna post it all the comments and on YouTube. Just trying to make sure that that's not drowning out the sound, that motor out there. But I had an interview planned with him that I was trying to sneak in before the end of the month, and I knew I had a return live stream planned for you all, which after that interview falling through a couple of times because of something with him and something with me, I was like, no, I'm gonna just start fresh in January. Did an Instagram live earlier in the week and just checked in with everybody. Didn't really talk sports, so that's why I got on here today to do exactly that with y'all. Talk some football, and there's going to be some college basketball that I need to get on here and discuss because we are about halfway through the season and plenty of hoops to react to. But I am planning to just keep it football related today. And yeah, I will have post a couple different things about the live stream that I had planned on here, what that's going to be for, because I had the idea to do two originally, sneak one in before December ended for Monday night football for the finale, but I was like, the Rams and the Falcons. Kind of regret that because that was low key a banger. Um, the Falcons, man, just is this the greatest 8-9 team ever? Or they're if they win today, they get to 8-9. I think you got to say that if they win today against the Saints, because the Saints have looked better than the Bucks and the Falcons, but have uh, have some great streams lined up for this month. Gonna have that interview with D dropping soon, and a cool guest for the first UFC card of the year. I'm looking forward to it all, man. And when I make the post on YouTube,
I'll also be dropping the we're going to be dropping information for you on the dates for Dee's interview and doing something for a guest reveal for who's going to be coming on for that UFC reaction stream for the first card of the year. One Paddy Pimblett versus the OG Jawbreaker Justin Gaethje. I'm looking forward to that card. That fight, honestly, I hate to see either one of them lose because Paddy's a young guy, but he doesn't seem like a bad dude. And Justin, I mean, he's gone through the gauntlet, man. So you got to respect him. But plenty of good stuff coming up for y'all. I have missed the hell out of doing these back porch streams here, and I finally have I got a my dry erase board because I like to keep it old school for a scoreboard for these NFL games and a fight clock for the UFC and for boxing for the rounds. So a lot of cool stuff coming up. Check out my Instagram and YouTube, and that'll have all the information, the post there for those upcoming live streams, the start times. I'll be posting something, as I said, about D. Reddick's interview coming up, and yeah, plenty more where that came from, guys. Look out for my next stream, which is a surprise, but looking forward to when I finally do reveal what that will be. And since my team is out of it, and this is not on ESPN, like ESPN is unbiased, go Jags.